Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about why trading is the best business in the world, especially if you're an aspiring entrepreneur. Now, before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Akil Stokes. We've got daily live streams. We've got weekly trading edge videos. We've got trading coach podcasts. I'm talking 1,000 plus free educational videos over on YouTube, youtube.com/Akil Stokes. Check it out, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss the next upload. Now, today's episode was really inspired by me, right? What a humble way to start. But I did something recently that I haven't done in a very long time. In fact, the last time I did it was back pre-COVID, right? 2018 with the Traders Ball out in London. I took a vacation, right? Now, this may seem strange to many of you, but if you know my personality, if you followed me for the longest time, you know that I am an absolute workaholic, and it's not because I have to, it's because I just love it. I love working. It is my ability to grind is perhaps my greatest trait, right? I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most innovative. I'm not the most of anything, but when it comes to business, when it comes to sports, right? What I can do is I can outwork anyone, meaning I can push on the gas and I can keep that gas going forever. However, I also know that there is importance in taking some time away in order to avoid burnout, because burnout is something that I've often faced, and bringing more balance to my life has helped me get past that, which allows me to be more productive because I don't crash and burn for a month. I can just stay on the gas, just maybe at a slower pace. The point is, I was away for a week. And the scary thing about being away for a week is that, typically it's all fun and games when you're heading out. You got all these cool plans planned. But in the back of your mind, you know that, when I get back, there's going to be so many emails, going to be so piled up with work. If you're an entrepreneur, can your business survive without you? I should say, if you're a small business owner, can your business survive without you? And the cool thing about trading is that in this business, you don't necessarily have to worry about any of that stuff, right? Trading is such a unique business for many reasons. One, there is no ceiling on what you can do, meaning that there is no level that you can reach that is unattainable, right? You can reach whatever level you can if you work for it, and it can keep going and going and going exponentially, right? Two, there is no ceiling on how much time freedom you can achieve, right? Meaning that you're not confined to being in a certain location. You're not confined to spending a certain amount of time actively working. Now, obviously, there are some things that you have to do, like in any business, but you're not locked into a specific pattern. You're not locked into a specific schedule. There's a lot of flexibility in what you do. Three, trading has an extremely low startup cost. We've talked about this many times in the past on the podcast, but if you look at many other businesses that you could be starting, right? What do you need? You need either something that's brick and mortar, you need a physical building, or you need to rent real estate, or you need supplies, or you need this, you need that. With trading, you only really need a few things, and most of the things you already have, right? So you need an internet connection. Probably got that already. You need some type of laptop or desktop. This is 2022, right? You've probably got that already. The only real thing you need to pay for is a charting package. And in all honesty, you can get a bunch of free ones out there as well. Now, it may be worth paying for one, but there are free ones. So the startup cost for trading really isn't that much. And four, right? You're not really affected the same way by worldwide events, right? So you get something like the best example, I'm dealing with the Russia-Ukraine situation right now, which affects the financial markets, right? So we do get that. The economic stuff does affect us, but you can still trade it. But I'm talking stuff like COVID, right? During the COVID, where stores physically shut down, people were literally told to stay inside their house and not go shopping, right? It wrecked so many businesses where they were, this pandemic, this disaster that was 100% out of their hands, affected their business. Where in trading, you can argue that it made our business better. I hate saying stuff like that because you never want to kind of be happy when other people are being devastated. But 2020 was a hell of a year for investors. And I had many great investments during that year simply because of what was happening in the market and me having the ability to take advantage of it. I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about many traders I work with. I'm talking about, we spoke with Mike Bellafiore. He had so many six-figure traders, seven-figure traders that year as well. It was something that we were able to take advantage of because we were skilled. And I remember going back to before I pursued trading, right? I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? I've worked my entire life, right? I've worked since probably the age of like 12 doing anything you can think of. I've been a landscaper. I've built houses. I've cleaned toilets. I've worked in kitchens. I've worked in the schools. I've done work for nonprofits. I've done a lot of stuff. And, just, again, it's always been my mentality. Work while you're young and you have energy. However, once I graduated college and grad school, I started valuing some other aspects of life a little bit more. I remember after grad school, I had a few interviews and I had some job offers as well. And one of the questions I kept asking at my job offer was, hey, I'm doing this coaching thing on the side. I was coaching athletics at the university that I had an internship with, and I fell in love with it. I loved coaching. I loved having an impact on kids of that age, that delicate age of like 17 to 21, where they're trying to figure out life. I kind of found my place as a person that kind of ushers them through that weird, awkward period from kid to adult. And I wanted to keep that going. Not only did I have a passion for sports, but again, it felt like I was really having a positive effect on the world. And that's something that's important to me. So when I had these job offers and I would kill the interviews and they'd offer me a job, one question I would ask is I said, hey, are the hours flexible? Or do I have to be confined to this 9 to 5 time slot? And I would tell them like, hey, I'm willing to come in 5 o'clock in the morning. I can work from 5 to 2. I can come in later. I can work overnight. Like, I'll get the job done. But does it have to be during this specific time? Because, I'm doing this coaching thing and I like it. And we practice at 3. So I'd like to be available for that. And all of them in the traditional mindset, well, no, you have to be here 9 to 5. And I would argue, I'm like, well, what, if as long as I get the job done, why do I have to be here? But they didn't understand. So I ended up turning down a lot of those offers. And it was at that point, too, where I decided that, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I am sick and tired of people telling me what I can, what I can't do. I am sick and tired of someone else being kind of the in charge of whether I get a pay bump or I move up to the next level, right? I want to have complete control over my life. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. That way I can have that complete control. And the next question was, well, what can I be, right? And I've always had the entrepreneurial mindset, right? I remember selling pencils in third, fourth grade, right? I'd take the number 2 pencil, the yellow ones, I would shave them off, and I'd draw on them and make custom pencil designs and sell them for money. I remember in high school, right? I was a DJ in high school. I would make mixtapes, right? I would take requests during the week. I'd put together a nice little mixtape, burn it on a CD or a cassette tape for you guys that are, from back in those days. And I'd sell every Friday. I'd sell mixtapes in school for money. DJ Eclipse was the name, right? In college, right? We literally made our dorm room into a recording studio, right? We had many aspiring artists, right, on campus. So we would bring them in, we'd charge them studio fees, we'd record them, we'd mix it down, we'd get it to them, we'd even promote it some for them, right? Boom, right? So I've always had this entrepreneurial bone inside my body. And now it was time to act on it. And I remember sitting down, writing down a few ideas of what do I want to do? And the problem with many of them was, one, as I mentioned before, high startup costs. I'm a broke college kid. I had nothing aside from what was in my investment accounts, but not enough to start up a major business. And I didn't really have enough collateral to take out a major loan or anything like that. So that was a problem. Another problem was every idea that I had, and this is how most entrepreneurs start. You don't actually start as an entrepreneur. I guess you start as an entrepreneur, but you're more of a small business owner. And I didn't understand the difference between the two until I read the book Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great starter for that, but Cash Flow Quadrant. Because as an entrepreneur, yes, you're starting your own business, but at the beginning, you're probably not able to hire a lot of employees, especially if you're like a young entrepreneur. So you're doing all the work yourself. And if you're doing all the work yourself, you're not really an entrepreneur. You are a small business owner, you're self-employed, I should say. It's not small business owner, self-employed. And that's a massive difference because an entrepreneur, right, is like an investor, meaning that you can get paid when you're not actually doing any work. You don't have to be there physically for you to make money because your company is printing money for you, right? Making money while you sleep. Self-employed, you literally have to be there for your company to make money. So if you're not physically there, literally there, putting in hours of work, you're not making money. And many of the ideas that I had required that I do that. And that went completely against something else that I wanted, which was time freedom. Freedom of time. Very important. So when I got into trading, I was investing first and I got into more active trading, specifically Forex, which is 24 hours, which really intrigued me because of that. It made for the perfect combination because it was something that I could do myself. It was something that no one can tell me or stop me from making as much as I wanted to make. I didn't have to pay a lot for a startup. Literally, the only thing I paid for was I dropped like $1,000 on the charting package, and I paid for some coaching because I sucked when I first started. But aside from that, I didn't really pay much. It wasn't affected by anything else, meaning no outside forces had any effect on my ability to make money. I wasn't dependent on this. I wasn't dependent on that. I was only dependent on myself, and that was a bet that I was willing to take. And then finally, again, it offered a massive amount of time freedom. I can create my own schedule. I can trade when I wanted to trade. I can even do stuff more so like I'm doing now, where I invest a little bit of time in the morning. Everything else is set up for the rest of the day, and I can literally do whatever I want for the rest of the day. Maybe a couple of days a week, you get an alarm goes off, you got to go back and check something for an entry or for some active trade management. But in the bigger scheme, it's not like I need to be working 8 hours, 10 hours a day in order for my business to be profitable. And although I wasn't a big, at the time I was still working 12 hours a day because I'm a grindosaurus rex. I just grind to get better and better. My bigger dream was in the future when I have family and they're grown up and I want to give them experience where I can show them the world. I wanted to be able to do stuff where it's like, hey, we're going on a trip. We're going to go there for this many days. When are we going to do it? We're going to do it next week. Right? I didn't want to have to ask permission. Hey, can I didn't have to want to wait for vacation hours. I have this many, right? I wanted to do what I want when I wanted to do it and not really have any repercussions, meaning not come back and be like, oh, my business failed because I was gone for a week. And this was a perfect example of that dream coming true, of being away for a week. The business does not suffer at all because I can still get up in the morning. I can check what I need to check. I can set up what I need to set up. Even from the business side, right? I can still answer emails, right? Everything is automated at this point where the Trading Coach podcast still came out without me physically needing to, record an episode or go to a screen and push it, right? It's all scheduled. And it's cool to see that the dream that I had, 15 years ago, is being played out now. And I don't record this podcast to brag or say, I'm better than you. I record this podcast to inspire because so many of the messages I get talk about, hey, Akil, I see myself as a young you. Oh, that makes me feel old. But I see myself as a young you, meaning that I've come from the same place. I've come from the same situation. And Akil, you've been an inspiration. You're someone that has done what I want to do, and I'm listening to every word you say because I'm trying to replicate that, right? And that's what I did with my mentor. My mentor was the same way. He came from nothing and built himself into something, and I hung on to every word he said in hopes of doing the same thing. And now that I'm at that level, it's so cool, it's so special, and I can only hope that I'm inspiring you guys as much as he's inspired me. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Again, check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Akil Stokes. I do a daily live stream. I call it my trade of the day. It's a live trading walkthrough. I do that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 7:30 a.m. New York time. I also do a weekend trading edge, which is kind of the big video, right, where we really dig into some really cool trading ideas and some really cool trading lessons as well. So head over to YouTube, search Akil Stokes, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That is the best way you can support what I'm doing over there. And until next time, plan your trade your plan. You guys have a great rest of your day.